Welcome to the Florida Probe training for research use. To get started as an overview, I want to click on the Florida Probe icon.
Welcome to the Florida Probe.
You're going to hear the welcome announcement, and then you're going to see the patient lookup list. If you've noticed, I've pre-entered 10 different research patients, and each patient and first name has their initials. The second or last name I've used as the location of the state. If there's 10 different locations for the research, TX could stand for Texas, for example. Again, the 1 stands for the actual patient number, if it's patient number 1 in Texas with the initials of TP. And then tooth 8, I just happen to remind myself which tooth it is that we're doing. As you can see here, I have 10 different patients put in. If you want to go ahead and put in a new patient, you can always click the new patient button here, and that allows me to put in a new patient. So if I'm using the last name to put in TX, this could be patient number 13. First could be, for example, TL is the initials of the person, and under chart number, again, this is person 13, and maybe this is tooth number 9 that we happen to be using. I like to also put in male or female as the gender and the birth date of the person as real. So if it's just one more piece of information there to confirm that I have the right patient. Now once I start the exam or get ready to mark the missing teeth, I can just click the periodontal page. It's going to start off with a list of everything that I normally recorded last time. So what I want to do is update this, and I want to make sure that we are going to record recession and hyperplasia at 6 sites per tooth, pocket depth at 6 points per tooth. We're going to do nothing else. I'm going to have all of the other items unchecked. Today's date should be automatically brought in from the computer, and the examiner name, if you haven't already entered your name as an examiner name, should be entered at this time. I'm going to click OK to continue. The probe is going to ask me to calibrate, so we can go ahead and calibrate the probe. The probe is coming out of the steam sterilizer. You should have at least 2 hand pieces. These are steam sterilized between every patient. I have my optical encoder cable. I'm just going to attach this onto the handpiece. Obviously at this point I'm typically gloved up. I have my tip protector. I'm going to take my tip protector off. This becomes a flat sterile surface to be able to perform the calibration. The calibration is simply allowing the handpiece to read the 0 possible recording, and then it allows it to do a secondary step where we're going to mark the maximum distance for that particular tip. So I just follow the on-screen instructions, tap the pedal once. It's going to mark the 0 reading or the 0 setting. Once I let it off of the flat surface, you know that now I can tap the center pedal again on the foot switch. And so now it's calibrated. If you notice there at the bottom of the screen, that green status bar area, when I bring the handpiece down to a flat surface, you should see it go back to 0.0, and that confirms that it is calibrated. There is a tip protector, a set of stair-step measurements that can be made. So if you notice here, that's a 3.0. If I go down to the next step, that's 6.0, and you can go down one more to 9.0 if you choose. So if you notice, my handpiece now is on a flat surface, or if it's too cattywampus, it can pick up 0.2 of a millimeter difference. We do want to mark missing teeth. I'm going to say yes with the foot switch. And from the keyboard, for the first time, I'm going to put Control U, which marks all the upper teeth missing as a keyboard shortcut. Control U and Control L for lower is going to mark all the lower teeth. Remember, tooth 8 was the tooth number that we wanted to start on this particular person. And so I'm going to just re-enter or click the re-enter button, and now I have tooth 8. So I've now marked all of the missing teeth in the mouth.
Midline.
I want to go ahead and click on recession to begin the exam.
Recession.
The probe at the moment, I uncalibrated it. If you ever change the tip or pull the tip all the way past 0, you can uncalibrate the probe. So if you change hand pieces during the middle of an exam, again, that would be another reason that would force the calibration. If for any reason you do want to recalibrate, you can either pick up on the upper arm like that, or you just click the calibrate button from the screen. So here again, just to show another chance to calibrate, I have a flat sterile surface. It's my tip protector. You could also be using the sterile surface, flat sterile surface of your mouth mirror if you wanted to calibrate. But here I am, I'm going to pick a flat surface, just follow the on-screen instructions, tap the center pedal once, that marks 0. And now when I let it all the way out, I tap the center pedal a second time. And again, this particular handpiece is now marked at 10.8 millimeters as its maximum depth. Now I'm in the recession mode. I'm ready to record the recession. I have a typodont or a model here on the desk that I'll be probing. We'll go over in another video actual probing technique, but just know I stick the probe under the gums. I bring the sleeve down to the top of the gingival margin, and now the first foot pedal tap is to mark recession, and I tap the pedal once. It makes a chirp noise. I back the sleeve up to where I see the CEJ exposed.
3,
Mark recession. I move to the central site. I tap it again. It makes a chirp noise. I slide it up to the CEJ. I tap it a second time.
3,
I go to the third side. I bring the sleeve down to the gingival margin. I tap it once. Makes the chirp. I slide up to where I see the CEJ exposed.
3,
I mark it again. Now when I get over to the lingual surface, there are no recession measurements that I want for this study. So I'm going to tap the foot switch 3 times with the probe not in the mouth or not being depressed. And so when I do that, the probe knows to record 0. So I'm going to tap it once, twice, 3 times,
upper arch,
and you notice that it's
entering
now
pocket
recorded
depth.
3 zeros. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm in the pocket depth mode, and now I come back to the distal there of tooth 8. I insert the probe, bring the sleeve down to the gingival margin. I tap it once.
4,
I move it over to the central side. I tap it
3,
again, and I move over to the mesial site, and I mark it
5.
again. So now it's 5 millimeters. Now, the next number I'm going to record is actually the mucogingival junction. This is where I'm going to use my mouth mirror as the stopping point, and I'm going to put that there where the die has marked it, and I've marked it there on the side where I can see it. I'm going to bring the tip against the mouth mirror and bring the sleeve down to where I can see the gingival margin exposed, and mark that
6,
one,
3,
mark this one, and mark that one. So
5.
now I've recorded the entire numbers that I need. The first 3 were the recession, the second were the pocket depth, and the third was the mucogingival junction. Even though it's stored under pocket depth on the lingual surface, anything on the lingual there is obviously going to be related to the mucogingival junction. So I tap the foot switch.
Data collection complete.
It says, do you want to save and print? Of course, I do want to save and print, so I'm going to hit yes. And now it's going to save and bring up my print menus. I can print a numerical chart, which will show the data to the nearest 0.2 of a millimeter, and I can also create a digital copy of that. The main chart will only show the numbers to the whole numbers, and I do not need that. And so I can go ahead and print the selected chart. Now, while I have the screen up, I want to show you that at any time that you create a chart like this, you can click
Upper
what we
arch.
call the tooth
You are
history
in the
button.
moving mode.
So once you're done with the exam, the setting is to have you in the moving mode where you can move around the chart and look at other things. One of those things is going to be the tooth history. So I click on tooth history, and here I can see the raw data. The pocket depth data is 3.6, 2.6, and 5.0. The recession data is 3.0, 2.4, and 2.8. The recession on the lingual is 0, 0, 0, and then the mucogingival junction numbers for the mesiolingual or the mesial, the lingual, and the distal are at 5.8, 3.2, and 4.4. So there are the the 9 total numbers that I need. And again, you can print this out, you can email it, or you can print it as a digital file, as a PDF as well. Okay, that's our first training and use of how to set visit settings, and also how to probe using the handpiece. Thank you.